Today's Gospel presents to us two essential moments in the life of Jesus, that is, prayer and mission. First, we see Jesus going up the mountain to pray. He spends the whole night in communion with the Father. Notice this. Before making one of the most important choices of his ministry, the calling of the 12, Jesus begins not with action, but with prayer. He does not simply rely on his human wisdom. He seeks the Father's will. And this is a powerful reminder for us. Each day we face decisions, small, others life-changing. But how often do we act first and pray later? Jesus teaches us the opposite. Pray first, act after. When prayer comes first, our choices are no longer ours. They become God's work in us. Second, after prayer, Jesus chooses the apostles. They were not perfect men. They had weaknesses, doubts, even failures. Yet Jesus called them because he saw beyond their flaws. He chose them not for their greatness, but for their willingness to follow him. This gives us hope. God also calls us not because we are perfect, but because he knows that with his grace we can serve. And finally, after choosing the 12, Jesus comes down from the mountain. He goes to the plain where the crowds are waiting, and from the mountain of prayer to the circle of disciples to the people in need. This is the rhythm of the life of Jesus. He prays, he calls, he serves. And when he serves, power flows from him. Lives are healed, people are restored. Last Sunday, the Church canonized two young men to the sainthood, Saint Carlo Acutis and Saint Pier Giorgio Frassati. As Pope Leo XIV reflected in the canonization homily, these saints teach us to direct our lives upward and make them masterpieces, not by grand deeds, but by simple, daily fidelity. Both saints reminds us of the simple but winning formula of holiness: prayer, mission, service, and doing so with our whole lives. Saint Carlos' motto, "Not I, but God," and Saint Pier Giorgio's conviction that if you have God at the center of all your actions, then you will reach the end. These steer us towards true discipleship. Brothers and sisters, we can ask ourselves, do I begin my day with prayer, inviting God's wisdom into my decisions, like Jesus on the mountain? Do I recognize that God calls us not in spite of our imperfections, but through them, just as he did with the apostles, with Carlo, with Pier Giorgio, and with all other saints? Am I attentive to the needs of the people around me, serving in the little things as these saints did, with humility? May today's Eucharist rekindle in us Jesus' rhythm of prayer, mission, and serving, inspired by his own life and mirrored in these young saints' fidelity. May their words, "Not I but God," direct your life upwards, guide us to lives that are true masterpieces of love.